Hello and welcome to Friday's episode of Selah, Time to Pause, So What? The extended version, special for YouTube. The normal version can still be found on your standard podcasting provider, linked in the descriptions below. But thank you for joining us here for extra fun and extra wisdom. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Hello and welcome. I am joined today by a very special guest, my good friend Gracie, who you will have heard read the Bible every now and then. Hello, Gracie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Chat to you, my friend Samuel.
It's nice to have you with us. I have a joke for you.
Okay. Embraced.
Monday we talked about walking. Ian talked about walking. So if you're on a walk, and then sometimes you come to a fork in the road.
Yeah.
What do you do?
No idea.
Stop for dinner.
Oh, my days. Do you need help? Do you need me to send help?
Yeah. Have you got any better jokes?
I've got one that's kind of related to walking.
All right. Okay.
What do you call a man with no shins?
Don't know.
Tony.
That's better than mine, so we might go with that.
I will stop and breathe in your presence. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Right. So enough of those silly jokes, and let's get right into Blue Monday. Ian was taking us through Blue Monday and walking us through some well-being walks from Elizabeth. Ian talked about walking in the fresh air and how that can make us feel better.
So I listened to this episode, because obviously the opening gambit was about Blue Monday. I know what Ian was saying counteracted the whole Blue Monday thing, but I saw a thing by the Samaritans, which I quite liked, where they turned the word from Blue Monday to Brew Monday. And the idea was that you were encouraged to call a friend and maybe arrange on that Monday to have a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Oh, nice.
And just make that connection. And I quite like that. It's a very simple idea, because the whole Blue Monday thing's it's a made up thing, isn't it? It's a commercial thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is quite a depressing day. Quite a tough day to get through. But I really liked the approach of going out and doing all that mindful walking kind of stuff. Walking for me has become a bit of a lifesaver for my mental health. So I've kind of picked up techniques along the way to help those walks have meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what Ian was encouraging us to do is really important to do every day, in terms of, just being present and being aware of our surroundings. And so one technique that I do, and I did it after Ian was encouraging us to go out, put our coat on, go outside, be wherever you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. And I take on board these kind of what they call grounding technique, just to help me be still. So I look at, name 5 things I can see, 5 things I can smell, and 5 things I can hear. And it just stops me. Even if I go out full of anxieties and worries and concerns, doing that, being aware of my surroundings, it just calms everything down. And I think, one of the things that struck me that Ian said is that, we can give the impression that we perhaps need to be somewhere beautiful and spacious and open. But he talked about the fact that you could, wherever your environment is, go out there, look at it, breathe. And I think if you can do that kind of mindful walking and listening in the most chaotic spaces, then I think you're armed enough to get you through the day.
Yeah.
You found peace in the noise kind of thing.
I guess you're kind of saying it's like training your mind, isn't it, for all situations? I like that a lot. I think for me, I spend a lot of my time inside working from home, and I'm not very good at doing other things than sitting inside. So some days I'll go for a run outside, I'll go for a walk, I'll go sit in a coffee shop to kind of change where I am, change my environment. And I think those days I feel a lot better in myself, like getting outside and walking and concentrating on other things.
I think it resets the brain, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it gives you a bit more energy as well then when you come back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
To sit down and get on with your work.
Yeah.
It helps, doesn't it? because I've got a dog.
Mr. C.
Mr. C. Yeah, that's his very short name. Mr. Adrian John Wilmslow Collins.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Collins for short. But having a dog, kind of, you have to go out for a walk every day. What makes me laugh? Well, he makes me laugh most days. His jokes are better than yours, though. So
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah. But what I have kind of noticed about him, so every morning we go the same route, same length of time around the block, right? It's the first thing that he does. But I've noticed, like when I get to the front door and I go to put the lead on him, he's like, his head's up, he's wagging his tail. It's almost like he's expecting like a new adventure every day, even though the route is the same.
Yeah.
But it's like he's never been on that route before.
Yeah.
Got that expectation. I was thinking about that. I wonder how, if we went with that expectation, even if we're stuck in a routine and we do the same thing every day. And I was thinking about that whole idea of, again, being present. So challenging myself, how different would my morning be if I asked the question, okay, God, what do you want to show me today?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to speak to me about? Who do you want me to interact with? And perhaps changing my attitude towards the day ahead, starting it with a sense of expectation and adventure, I guess.
Yeah.
About what's ahead. But yeah, I think that episode, it triggered off quite a lot of thoughts, because actually what Ian was suggesting is quite simple and but we just need to, I guess it's expecting God even in the ordinary and in the everyday.
Yeah.
Because that's where God can show up. Can I ask you a question about your running?
Yeah.
When you run, do you run with music or do you have headphones in?
Mainly, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I run with music, or sometimes I run with a podcast in. Yeah, I never really run with nothing. Sometimes I walk with nothing, but yeah. Because
I do a bit of running and I nearly always had headphones in. But then when I had to train for a run, I had to do some longer ones. And I was running along the canal and I suddenly thought, I'm going to not have any music, not have any sound. And I thought I'd get bored, but actually I found it really helpful.
All right. Okay.
And it was just really nice to take in the surroundings rather than be distracted from them.
Yeah.
And I did it for half an hour.
Mm-hmm. Do you then go back into listening to music after half an hour of running?
Well, it was really to do with the route. So along the canal, I thought it's nice views. There's lots to take in.
Yeah.
You can breathe, take in the air. But then the next part of my route would take me along an A road.
Okay.
And it's straight. I just needed. I needed the music.
And I think in Tuesday's episode, if we come into the day with an expectation of what do you want me to do, God, and a heart of thanking God for everything that we see and a heart of love for everything that's out there, then that in a way satisfies how God satisfies our soul, because we then know through coming into things with a thankful heart and being expectant of God, he can then show us his love, which is just unconditional.
Yeah. And what that does is it fills the day, every day, even the ordinary, with possibility. There's always opportunity for God to do and show great things. Yeah.
Shall we move on to Wednesday?
Well, it was a bit of a challenge for me, because Elizabeth talked about, God satisfying your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say, that's a real challenge to me, because I'll tell you what comes a second to that: crisps.
Crisps satisfy your soul.
You really had to press me on what I find the most satisfying between God and a bag of crisps.
Right, okay.
With gritted teeth. Obviously, a true belief that it's God.
Yeah.
But crisps, there's nothing. And I'll tell you something, Sam. We've been friends a long time, haven't we?
And we have been friends a very long time.
We have been friends a very long time. But I don't know that you still, after all these years, would know how much crisps means to me. But I tell you something, if someone takes a bag of crisps away from me before I've got to the crumbs in the corner of a crisp packet, then we can't be friends.
Is that the best bit, the crumbs in the corner?
It's the full stop. It's the punctuation of a feast of flavours.
Right, okay. What flavour crisps?
That's a challenge. I think it's salt and vinegar Walkers.
Okay.
but I'm also partial to a Monster Munch.
Oh, yeah.
Pickled onion.
Pickled onion.
In fact, my mouth is watering now. Anyway,
I'm a very picky crisp eater. I only like certain flavours, like Walker's cheese and onion and salt and vinegar.
No.
I'm not a fan of.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you like cheese and onion.
No, this was one of my least favourite is cheese and
Okay.
onion. The best crisps, I'd say, is from the Co-op, Chardonnay vinegar
Yes.
and
Hands
sea
down.
salt. Something They're like, I don't know what it is about them. They're just number one.
Yeah.
The texture, the flavour, the crunch.
Yeah.
They've got it all.
I'm going to have to pop to my Co-op now. Get some.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So she was talking about satisfying, thirsting after God and him satisfying your soul. So I do a bit of running, but I learned the hard way the importance of fueling your body.
Mm-hmm.
On day-to-day basis. You're supposed to drink 2 gallons of water, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I'm not very good at doing that.
No, I'm awful at it.
I did that yesterday, actually. I managed to drink 2 litres of water. I was going to the toilet an awful lot. It's
See,
like,
what's the point?
I know.
What is the point? I drink about 10 cups of tea in a day. That's got water in it, so that counts.
Oh, perfect.
That's
I'd
my
say so.
way of thinking. But anyway, I was doing a training for a run, doing a long run, and totally misjudged my water intake. And so I got dehydrated. And I don't think I've ever really been dehydrated before, but I was like going dizzy. It was hurt.
Oh, wow.
I had physical pain in my legs. I was getting stitch, and I never get a stitch. I'm not a good sewer either. And sorry. Anyway, so yeah, my legs were wobbling and my head was all over the place. And then I saw this petrol garage, like an oasis appear in the distance. It was a Shell, not an oasis. And I thought, I've got to get water. So I went in there, and I'm sure the man behind the desk really appreciated me going in there, sweating all over the counter. And I got a huge bottle of water, got out, and I drank slowly, but I did drink nearly the whole bottle. But the effect was instant. It didn't take long. So it wasn't just the impact like in my mouth with thirst. My head settled down. I didn't get stitch. Felt like I got more energy in my legs, and then I finished off the run. And it just struck me how it affected my whole body, my whole physical side. And when I think about, thirsting after God and that, and it's not just, the day's going to go brilliantly now.
Yeah.
It's when God provides his spirit for you, fills you, tops you up, it affects everything, doesn't it? It affects your head. It gives you a clearer mind. I don't know. I find that I'm more confident about things. I can make decisions more clearly. I feel that connection, a deepening connection with God that I wouldn't have if I didn't take on board that kind of spiritual hydration, if you like. So, yeah, that was my thoughts on that.
I've never been dehydrated.
I don't recommend it.
No, I'll try not to.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. I was also struck by 2 other elements that Elizabeth talked about, and I think you mentioned it earlier, the idea that nothing is wasted, that God teaches us and speaks to us in all circumstances. And if we thirst for his spirit, we can gain strength and also courage from him. Like recently, I found myself having to make quite big decisions about my future. And I've spent ages like doubting and being hesitant to make a final decision. And I've got this good friend who reminds me frequently that nothing is wasted. And I think even if it turns out that I've made what I might consider to be the wrong decision, it will not be wasted because there's always something to learn and be encouraged by, and if we seek God in those decisions, we're humans, we're trying to work it all out, aren't we?
Yeah.
And sometimes we just have to trust and go with it. And it might not always pan out how we think, but it won't be wasted. The experience won't be wasted.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more.
And then the second thing from that episode was about the dawn will come. And I found this quote. I don't know who said it, but I obviously wrote it down for some reason. I don't know if it's from the Bible or maybe a monk said it. I don't know. Who knows? It might be from Call the Midwife. Who knows? So, I wrote it down. So, darkness comes, but so does the morning. Sadness comes, but so does hope. Sorrow may have the night, but joy comes in the morning. And I like that because there's nowhere stopping the light coming. It can't be.
It's mad to think that from the song, the line was, you take my darkest night and turn it into shining light just when I thought the night had won. I think she said something about, like, even when it seems dark, that light is still shining and it's still there. And there's nothing that the darkness can do to put that light out.
Absolutely. This is just a bit of an aside, but as you know, I had a little bit of a nervous breakdown a few years ago. But as a result, I've had some really helpful therapy. And even though in that therapy, I had to work through some real, like the darkest of experiences, my therapist always, it would encourage me to think, if I feel I'm getting overwhelmed by it, this will pass. And I kind of I try to take that on board every day to know it, this will pass. And I think the advantage of knowing God amongst it all means not only will it pass, but I'm never alone in it, and the light will always win. And then there's that other phrase, again, it might have been a monk who said, this will pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass. It's silly, but I like that. It might be painful, but God's still there. There's always hope.
And with God, he makes all things work together for good as well. So it will pass like a kidney stone, but you will be stronger because of it. Which is always good. So Wednesday, it was my heroes. I listed a lot of my heroes. Sorry to change the subject very quickly.
No, I'm up for that.
And I wanted to mention that recently, my dad has been an absolute hero. I won't go into it very much, but he's been looking after my grandpa and just goes above and beyond. And he's doing a very good job. He's done a very good job. So well done, Dad. And I think it just reminded me of, like, I talked about living like Jesus and how Jesus is our hero. And he is a hero because he has lived like Jesus and served others and going above and beyond like Jesus did. So I think this week that's just an embodiment of the episode that I made.
And there were so many things I got from this episode, and what you shared there about your dad, I wonder how much he's aware of him being a hero, or whether he just gets on with it and does it. And I wonder how for everyone that might be the case. So people might view us as heroes without us even knowing. So that's why it's really important that we try and live as Jesus lived, how we interact with others and show compassion and kindness and serve others, because I think they're the real heroic actions, aren't they? But I think it's important that we tell people who we think are heroes, because they won't know.
Because sometimes it can be a thankless task that people do. And they didn't realise how much it means to people. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked you talked about that. I'm paraphrasing the quote about where you try to be like one of your heroes, but in trying to do it, you fail along the way. But you find your way of doing it. Yeah,
through failing, we kind of find ourselves and find the best way to do it. Yeah,
I really liked that. I really, really like that. And I think we can be disappointed sometimes in ourselves when we don't match up. But I think the fact that we are proactively wanting to aim higher, or to learn something new, or to be better at something, that in that moment of choosing to do that, I think we open ourselves to God to shape us and build character in us. Because you've got to put yourself in that situation in the first place of wanting to learn something new or to be better at something. But I really like that. I'm a bit disappointed you didn't sing "I Need a Hero."
I need a hero. I think I'll know.
There you go. That's made up for it. I think one more thing about the hero thing that you drew out on, about you drew lots of references to compassion. And I think we might view someone being a hero as doing great big things. And again, if you think about Jesus being the ultimate hero, he did the ultimate heroic act of conquering death, dying for all.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ultimate thing. But there are still things that we can try and live like him, to have those heroic characteristics in our lives. And it is through the compassion, those things that you said. And my favourite verse in the Bible is all of 2 words long, and it's Jesus wept. Because if you think about that in the context of the story, so it's when he goes to see Lazarus. Lazarus has died. His friends come out. They're really upset. And he cries with his friends at the fact that Lazarus is dead. But he knows how that story is going to end. He already knows Lazarus. He's going to bring Lazarus back. But he has so much compassion for those around him. He feels empathy. He cares about people and their feelings and stuff. And he cried. It's a real simple thing, but I think the fact that Jesus showed compassion in relationships and in the small stuff, not just in the big, superpower, super healing stuff. And we can all live that out, can't we?
Yeah.
We can be compassionate. We can be kind to people.
Like, as you said that, I think that kind of struck me in a new way, that he already knew that it was the end story, but still felt that. So, yeah. Thank you for that.
Wash over me like a tidal wave. Clean out what pulls me to the grave. Nothing left that you don't love. Take me where your river flows. Heal the desert in my soul. Let it wash over my feet. All I'm asking for is just a drink. I thirst for you. Yes, my soul it thirsts for you. Even as the deer is panting for the stream, even more my soul is thirsty. I thirst for you. Spirit of the living God, would you fall afresh like rain on us? Burst the doors and flood the halls into forgotten rooms inside our hearts, and we will all be swept away in the current of your love and grace. Living water flows to me. All I'm asking for is just a drink. And I thirst for you. Yes, my soul it thirsts for you. Even as the deer is panting for the stream, even more my soul is thirsty. And I thirst for you. One thing I ask and I would seek, to see you there in front of me, with nothing standing in the way, just me before you unashamed.